We are back with another weekly segment of Talks with RJ. This week, we are thrilled to be joined by a man who needs no introduction in the Sylacauga community. If you ever had surgery or anything, or if you ever had to recover for an injury, we are talking with Ben Donahue this morning. Good morning, Ben. How are you?
Good morning, RJ.
Well, thank you for taking some time out to be with us this morning. But before we get started into your physical therapy career, I want to talk about your education for a while.
Okay.
You went to you went to Central Alabama Community College, and then you went and got your psychology degree in Auburn and Montgomery. How did that work out and everything for you?
It was just perfect the way it was planned out. Psychology wasn't my first choice, but when I got into my education and all of the classes that I was taking and I enjoyed, it kind of just leaned me in that direction. And then that's just kind of just where I fell into my groove, and it went from there.
So then you went to Jefferson State and received your associate of physical therapist, right?
That's right.
So can you talk about a little of that process and what did you learn in that process, and would that kind of get you to where you know you want to be in your career?
Right. Well, when I graduated from AUM, Auburn University in Montgomery, I wanted to be a physical therapist. I knew that's what I wanted to do. So I applied for physical therapy school at UAB, and I didn't get in. So I heard about this program at Jefferson State, which is a physical therapist assistant program. So it's a 2-year program. So I already had all my prerequisites with my previous degree. So I applied, I got in. It was a 1-year program, and they prepared me really well for the job market. And I worked for, probably 10, 15 years before I went out on my own, and gained some experience and that kind of stuff. And but yeah, it just prepared me really well for my career.
Ben, before we dive deeper into your career, for our viewers, they really don't understand what a physical therapist is. They think it's just a job where you just trying to help people get better, or you trying to help them on their mission, but it's a lot that goes into being a physical therapist. Can you walk us through what all goes into it and the details and everything that you really have to pay attention to when becoming a physical therapist?
Yeah, well, everybody's different, right? So everybody that comes in, RJ or Ben or any older person or younger person, all have different circumstances, different pain tolerances, different injuries. I would say rarely are 2 injuries exactly the same, because there are other factors involved, and even your general health. So we have to take all those things into consideration: your age, your previous health, what type of surgery you had, or what type of injury you had. And then we tailor that program for you. It's not a one program for everybody. It has to be tailored for what you can withstand and hold as far as your tolerance to exercise, your tolerance to pain, your physical activity, So we take all of those things into consideration when we tailor your plan.
And I'm a football guy, and I know, not even in football, but everything, you have to have a great relationship with all your people.
That's right.
So I know, when I was at Alabama during my time with football, I had a firsthand look at how our training staff dealt with athletes, starting from Jeff Allen all the way down to our assistant trainers. Mm-hmm. And they have a great relationship, especially director of rehab, Jeremy Gazelle. So can you talk about the relationship that you have to have with your patients? Because sometimes they say you're hurting them or you're pushing them, but you want to see them be the best and recover back from that injury. So can you talk about the relationship part of everything that goes into it?
Yeah, see, you just hit home with me. I'm a relationship guy. So it's all about relationships, because you got to have trust, right? You go in to see your doctor or your therapist or your trainer, you got to know that those guys know what they're doing and they're putting you on the right path. Because if you don't trust what they're telling you, you're not going to have a good outcome, because you're not going to buy into the program. And you know about programs and buying in. So just like a football coach or any type of leader, if you're going to them for advice and they're going to lead you in your recovery, you got to trust that guy's got your best interest, at heart. And you guys have got to have a good relationship and trust each other. All about the relationship.
You definitely do a relationship. And I want to hit on something else. When you talk about passion, what is your passion like for being a physical therapist? Because I know sometimes when people get into careers, they can get burnt out, or they can feel like, man, this is not for me. And then you hear patients, sometimes they probably not complaining, but they probably saying, man, this guy working me, this guy's really working me and hurting me. So can you talk about the passion you have as a physical therapist?
Yeah, so, growing up, being in sports, having coaches that motivated me to do better and to succeed, I learned a lot from that, and and I enjoyed motivating people. And so to me, it was a great career. At first, I wanted to go into athletic training, but that's a lot of traveling and a lot of hours, and then it didn't really work with my family. So I wanted to be kind of an 8 to 5 guy. And so a physical therapy clinic worked really good with that, so that I could be an 8 to 5 guy, and I could be passionate, with my clientele, and really push them to succeed. And that's really what I wanted to do. I had people do that for me, and I had a passion, just wanted to give back to people, to motivate them to be the best they can be.
You talk about 8 to 5 being, you want to do 8 to 5. Well, it's not just you. Can you talk about your staff? Highlight your staff for a minute. Talk about who all works with you, what everybody does, because it takes a team to do what you do. It's just not one person, but it takes an entire village, entire team to do exactly what you do and your work you do.
Yeah, and to run our clinic, we got 5 employees. We've got 4 therapists, 3 physical therapist assistants, and 1 physical therapist, and then a front office manager. And between our 4 therapists, we have over 90 years of experience.
Wow.
90 years of experience. I don't think there's another clinic around that has that kind of experience.
90 years.
90 years between the 4 of us. And so there's not a lot we haven't seen. Between all of us, we've seen just about everything there is out there. And so that experience gives us the confidence to be able to treat a wide array of injuries and conditions. And so, and they're just the best. I got Dan Shable as our physical therapist. He's been doing this for 25 years. Just a great relationship guy and a motivator. So he's really great at what he does. Tony Heath is another physical therapist, over 30, 40 years of experience. She's just a blessing for our clinic. Got a new hire, a new grad that has been in the business for 2 years, and she's learning really well and helping at our clinic as the youngest person there. And then I've been in the business for 25 years. And so with all of us there, and Kim working the front office, she's going to be the first person you talk to, right?
Right.
So when you call, she's going to be that first voice. And so she's even motivating you, right, to make that. She's motivating you to make that first appointment,
right?
Because when you call in, some people aren't really sure of what they want to get into, right? They say, I don't really know if I want to do this or do that. My doctor sent me, but I don't know. I've heard a lot of bad stories about physical therapy and how painful it is.
Right.
So she's that motivator the first time you call in, to say, calm you down a little bit. Let's get you scheduled. These guys will take care of you.
And I want to talk about something that's very important too, an environment, because I had some time to work with you guys, and you worked with my mom as well, and you work with some more people I know. But you guys are playing music, you having fun.
Right. That's right.
But you're trying to keep the vibes high, like for your patients. Can you talk about how important an environment is? Because they're already taking physical therapy. They don't want to be sad in a droopy mood. So how important is the environment?
Yeah, you just said it right there. Everybody that comes in is in pain. Not everybody, but the majority of people have some sort of condition that's causing them pain. So we don't want to sit around and be crying and just dwelling on that. So we want to be positive.
Right.
We want to, what's the saying? Sometimes you got to laugh to keep from crying.
Yes.
So we got to do that. We got to be positive. We want to make a good experience, so they want to come back, and they need to be getting better without feeling that pain. And sometimes laughter and a great environment is a good motivator.
So, been working in physical therapy for 25 years.
Yes.
So, like all things evolve, different people change, different scenes change. Can you talk about any change you have seen in your time working in physical therapy?
Yeah, there's a lot of change, and most of it is probably on the insurance side. There's been a lot of changes in insurance over the years, but the greatest change we've had in the past probably 6 months is direct access. Okay. So now you can come in and see me without getting that referral from your doctor. We can treat you for 30 days with an ankle sprain, a hip pointer, or a thumb like what you had, a shoulder, anything you got. If you had an injury, a recent injury, and you've not had surgery, you can call us up. We can get you in, and you don't have to go through that extra step of going to see your physician, getting your referral to come in. You can just come see us, talk to us over the phone. We can get you scheduled and get you back recovery pretty quick.
And one of the things I like about physical therapists, at my time in Alabama when I worked in the training room as a student, one of the things I loved seeing was athletes come back from a story. I would come back from an injury or anything. Like I said earlier, those guys at Alabama do a great job. And shout out to Alabama football training staff, does an amazing job. But can you talk about any comeback story you've had from an athlete or any patient? Because that's one of the things that what you do, why you do it. You know, that's your why.
Yeah,
you want people to have a comeback story and be better than what they were before when they got injured.
Yeah, well, it's not just a one amazing or two amazing stories. It's every day, RJ.
Yeah.
Every day somebody's coming in there with a condition, whether he's 90 or she's 45 or 13. Everybody that come in has got a successful story that they have recovered from. And so it's every day, and that's what motivates us, you know, because it's a quick turnaround. You're going to see results in 3 to 6 weeks, you know, and that patient goes from, you know, maybe not being able to walk to being able to walk, or getting off a walker, or being able to have less back pain and work in the yard. You know, every day a patient's coming in and saying, hey, I was able to, you know, use my weed eater this weekend, or I was able to go shopping.
And those are stories you like to hear, right?
Yeah, I was able to get out of the bed and cook my family dinner,
right?
You know, without hurting. And those are things we hear every day, and it is really a blessing.
Ben, you like, before we get done our interview, I want to ask you a few more questions. I know you like to be on a boat and everything with your family.
Yes.
So can you talk about time management and how you manage everything with your family?
Time management is something that has kind of evolved in my career, because early, you know, you want to get in there and you want to grind and you want to work, and your family takes a back burner. But I think the balance of that is just really big. You got to take that time to spend with your kids and your family and your wife, and even with, you know, your relationship with the Lord. You got to have that time, because it's all got a balance. If you give too much to one thing, then you're going to be out of balance, and things are not going to work out for you. Yeah, and that's I think more of a process you have to learn with experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to be able to make the changes.
So I want to give you an opportunity to talk about, in 2021, you guys were nominated for Alabama Small Business Award. Can you talk about everything that went into that and how it was an honor to even be thought about for that type of award?
That's right. Yeah, we were nominated to be one of the small businesses of Alabama. And so that was through the local Chamber of Commerce here, and Laura Strickland nominated us for that. And our chamber is great. They do a lot of good things for the city, and they helped us with that process. You know, it wasn't really anything that we did. It was just telling our story, you know, and how we got to where, what we do for the community. And it was a good experience to go and just to be recognized with other small businesses that were trying to do the same thing that we're doing, give back to our community, and just be a relationship people.
Ben, it's a lot of people that aspire to do what you do or want to do, but it takes time, effort. It also takes commitment. So before we wrap this interview up, can you give any advice to anybody who's aspiring to become a physical therapist or get in the medical field in general?
Yeah, the first thing you need to do is get in and do some observation hours. You need to get into a clinic, or you can call us or any clinic local to where you are, and just get in there and see what it's like. You know, see what we do day to day. We love to have students or young people come in and just observe. You know, talk to us, ask questions, and see if that's a good thing for you. You know, they have the volunteer program at the high school where the guys get to go out and test out careers and hang out with people that they may want to, you know, have a career in. And we participate in that program, and we think it's great. But you got to put in the time, you got to put in the studies,
you do,
and you just got to be motivated to just keep going, do it. You know, don't sit around and talk about it. Make a plan and do it. You know, get out there and be that person.
And if anybody want to come visit you, the address is right here, 400 W Fort William Street here in Sylacauga, Alabama. And now they can give you guys a call at 256-487-8040. Talking with Ben Donahoe this morning. Ben Donahoe, thank you so much for your time and stopping by and having a conversation with Talks with RJ.
Anytime, RJ. I enjoyed it.
Stay tuned for more Daybreak. Thank you, man.